This is far enough for the night. We will continue to the city in the morning. Get a fire started.
Welcome back, everyone. We are taking a little break outside of Mordor and are currently in North Ithilien. Unfortunately, my little trip to Narban was lost due to some technical difficulties. So I managed to retrieve the skull, I brought it back. We got the answers saying that the person in charge of Narban has turned into this fire figure of fire and all, and that Arogmu is now control of Narban. So we decided to head off into the area Argonauts that's south of it, and we've discovered that there is some trouble with a plague. So therefore, Mithrandir and I are heading to Minas Tirith to see if we get some information about the Great Plague and how it may relate to this. And are traveling with Mithrandir, and I'm also traveling with some other people, including a certain wily person from the Eastern Lands. Hello there, Rathnor, who is the driver for the wagon that we're taking. Good. The soldiers have started the fire. We will take some food and some rest, and when the sun comes up once more, we will continue on to the city. This is a pleasant enough place to wait out the evening, much nicer than the lands we have left behind us for sure. It would be good to have a reprieve from the choking fumes of Mordor and the wastes that border that foul land. But do not be lulled into complacency by the pleasing scenery. Keep an eye on that Easterling. He has caused no trouble thus far, but I do not want him to take advantage of our kindness. His sort are deceptive and untrustworthy, and we must not forget it. I will warm my bones by the fire and have a bite of bread, all right? So they don't trust Eorzin the Wily, apparently. And here's some soldiers here. Hello there, Ninadar. I don't care what he says for himself. I don't trust him. The Easterling will stick us with a blade without a second thought. How many good men of Gondor have already died in his hands, or at the hands of his fellows? I will not sleep tonight. I will keep one eye open, and make sure that this Eorzin does not try anything. You should do the same. Come, lads, but keep an eye out. All right. They're going to sit by the fire now. Let's have a little talk with Mithrandir, who is, of course, with Shadowfax here. Hello there. These wagons travel much more slowly than they did on the way to the Black Gate. Does Rathnor spare his horses the exertion of a reasonable pace? He does no favors. Shadowfax is made the better by the haste, and revels in the lands passing by at speed. Bah! These horses could do with some feed, and the evening will be rest enough. But I am impatient to reach Minas Tirith. The scrolls and tomes of the White City will be of use to me, but I need you there if we are to cover them sufficiently. Very well. Does no man understand our need for haste? Well, yep, he's always in need of haste. Now let's speak to Eorzin. Now, Eorzin was originally to not wanting to come to Gondor. He was refusing any request to come here or anything like this. But we said, well, if you won't come to Gondor, then perhaps you should join us in the swamp in Argonath. And as soon as we mentioned the name of that place, he was very eager to come to Gondor. So when I got there, I found out why, because that's a rather nasty place full of plague and all that stuff. And we met a couple of Gondorians there, including one that's in this party here, but you'll see later. And yeah, he essentially ran away as soon as he saw what happened to his companions. Not a good place at all. Yeah, it may be a swamp, but it's still Mordor. Do these men think that I have no ears? I hear what they whisper behind their hands. It bothers me not. I can say the same of them, and much worse. They do not have even a portion of Eorzen's courage, or his fine features. They are right to worry, though. If I wanted them dead, they would not see the sun come up in the morning. Lucky they are to not have seen the end of the war. Do they know it is done? I do not fight for Sauron any longer. Did I say they were cowards? The ugly in face? Dim-witted they are also, to think the war still needs fighting. Join them at their campfire if you wish. I am content to stay right here, and need neither the warmth of their fire nor their company. All right. The sun is my companion, and he shines in my home as he does here. Sit and warm yourself by the fire, Pineleaf. All right, I guess I can do that. Actually, I need to be in a place where I could see the conversation. Here's a good place to sit. I am glad to be leaving Mordor behind us. Aye, indeed. But we bring some of its refuse with us. You're right, Belaith. That's a pity. It was not up to me, lads. Blame Pineleaf for Mithrandir if you want to take the risk. I would not advise you to do that. I am in a dark mood already and do not have time for small-mindedness. Lindadar, tell me something. How fared you in Argonath? I think to go there when I next return to Mordor. I wouldn't recommend it. I think you should steer clear of it, Belaith. He's the one who ran off. I found no treasure there. It is perilous and empty. Well, except for disease-ridden vermin, of course. Ha! You have something to say, Easterling? Eorzen does not speak to cowards. Calling us craven, are you? I do not need to say it. You say it of yourselves. Oh, and what is this? I will not apologize to these cowards, Pineleaf. They are children, playing at war while the sun is in the sky, and called in for bed at sundown. Ooh. They know nothing of Sauron. They know nothing. Your master is dead, Easterling. Sauron is gone. He was no master of mine. You are a liar. Uh-oh, this isn't going to be good. Well, you do not know how it was. He did not begin with Gondor. The Dark Lord did not come to your lands until he had conquered mine. If your people had been stronger, he might have not had the chance. Stronger? Strong like the walls of your white city? This one has seen Argonath. Tell him what he saw. Well, Lindadar? It was horrible. I do not want to speak of it. When next you speak of strength, consider this truth. She who made Agarnaith as it is, she came first to my lands. Her poisons devastated whole cities. They are empty now. No one walks the empty streets for fear of her memory. We tried not to say her name, but the children remember. Sweet Lara, they sing, walking in the moonlight. Heard a baby crying, flew away at once. Can this be true? Your wizard knows of her. You men of Gondor do not know the horrors that befell my people. Yes, we fought for Sauron. Others of us died by his hand. We did not have a choice. I do not believe that. I care not. But if ever you come face to face with sweet Lara, you may understand. Sauron is gone. I fear no lesser phantoms. I will not repent my words, Pineleaf, but I will confess to you that I paid no heed to events beyond the borders of Gondor. That Sauron first conquered the lands of the east were known to me, but I did not consider what that must have meant to the people that lived there. I believe the Easterlings worshipped him as their dark lord, and no doubt many of them did. But the words of Eorzan have planted seeds of doubt in my mind. I do not like him, and I still do not trust him. But perhaps his people— Bah! I do not know, Pineleaf. Would we have succumbed to the domination of Sauron, as did the Easterlings? I did not believe so, but perhaps it is more difficult question to answer than I thought it was. What do you think about all this, Gandalf? We cannot believe everything that Eorzan says, Pineleaf, but I detect in his words some elements of truth. That his people passed down legends of the creatures that stalked their lands cannot be questioned, and I know the inspiration for the one he calls Sweet Lara. She was called Larith, the Stained, a creature of fell reputation. Once she made her home in Mordor, and it seems Agarnaith has not forgotten her, for the touch of her corruption remains. Many were the hurts she perpetrated upon the lands of the Easterlings, and her foul touch was felt even in Gondor. But that is not a tale to be told in the dark, even by fireside. Larith is gone with her master, though her presence can still be felt in Mordor today. I think Gandalf forgets one little point here. Larith was not a ring wraith. Why does he assume that she's gone? We'll have to find that out when we enter into Minas Tirith. And we have arrived.
At last we have arrived.
See, even he's great that we did. I am accustomed to haste, and Ratnor's horses were incapable of anything faster than a slow trot. Shadowfax might have done that in his sleep, but I did not wish to leave you behind. I have need for you now, and it would not do to arrive quickly and then wait for you to report in Ratnor's leisurely pace. Gandalf does not take into account that Rathnor's horses were carrying wagons. He apparently doesn't understand the concept of normal horses. Eorzen has given us little reason to trust in Pineleaf, but your account of Vargonath confirms some of my suspicions. The remainder requires corroboration by other sources, but these can be found in the city. Go to the houses of lore in the southern side of the Fifth Circle, and look for any scrolls or tomes that concern the Great Plague that so troubled Gondor earlier in the age. Ask the scholar there for some Kingsfoil as well, if any can be spared. They have found it lately of use, but they still should have some to give to you. Once you have done this, you should see if Eorzen has anything else to say to us concerning the matter. Whether he can be trusted or no, he seems more willing to speak to you than to anyone else. Alright, so let's head into the Houses of Lore. We found the Houses of Lore, and a few shelves here and there. I would think there'd be actually a few more shelves here in the Houses of Lore. But of course, we do have a large number of scholars around here. Oh, here's somebody I know. Hello there, Covadil.
Kingsfoil? Yes, I have some right here.
Oh, good. Did you tire of your danger already? Well, what is it that brings you to the House of Lore? Oh, yes. I am ready and available to help you in whatever way I need. Yes, Kingsfoil. Yes, I do have some. It's very useful for treating headaches and other minor maladies. Has prolonged exposure to the foul air of Gorgoroth been giving you headaches? I am sorry to hear that, but perhaps this will help. Well, hopefully it's not just a... I admit that that place does give me a bit of a headache, but... No, believe me, it's something more serious than a headache, but I guess I probably don't want to tell her at the moment. Let's see, I think maybe in here? In here? And... in here. Ah, here it is. One musty book. Let's see what it says. This musty tome provides a dry account of the great plague that ravaged Gondor beginning in the year 1636 in the Third Age. The forgotten scholar that wrote these pages noted that the plague arose somewhere in the east, and many of the folk there were consumed by the disease before it spread to the Northmen of Rovanen. The account spent slightly longer detailing the effects of the Great Plague on the rule of Gondor, including the deaths of King Telemnar and all his children, and the abandonment of Osgiliath for lack of men healthy enough to man the defenses. The author of these pages mentions in passing that the watches of Minas Ithil, the Moranan, Osdathnir, and Durthand were severely undermined by the result of these diseases, and you cannot help but wonder if he foresaw the problems that would cause in future days. The account further notes the discovery of the leaves of the Athalas plant were found to have been beneficial effects upon the progression of the plague, and the disease finally ran its course in Gondor by the year 1637. So therefore, the disease went from 1636 to 1637, so probably anywhere from 1 to 2 years, depending on what parts of those years the disease was in. So therefore, let's go speak to Eorzen and hear what he may have to say about the disease. Ah, here's Eorzen. Hello there. How are you coming along?
I have never seen this city from the inside before.
It is quite a sight, Pineleaf. I believe that Sauron's armies were so near to victory, but now I'm not certain. The city appears much stronger from up here. I fought on the field down there. It's hard to tell, but I think I can see where my sworn men joined the battle. I slew many men myself, wielding swords, wielding axes. That is the way of war. If you want not to be their blood, it would have to be mine. Eventually, things began to go wrong. Some of my sworn men were themselves slain. Others turned and ran. I ran with them. Later, when we formed up again, word came down that some of the leaders were dead. The Lord of the Nazgul, maybe others. And I thought to myself, why should I die as well? I thought to take my men and go home, leave the war behind. But I received new orders. I was to set an ambush for the force that had started the march in the direction of Mordor. I left that task for the orcs. I tried to lead my men home, and I was betrayed on the road. It was Orkutku who betrayed me, the treacherous dog. He was rewarded with my command, and I was brought to Udun, there to rot. The captain of the pit, Uthrakor, did not plan to keep me there for long. He planned to send me to Agarnaith. Durthang was a nightmare, but it would have been a pleasant daydream compared to that. Sweet Lara is there, Pineleaf. She is still there, and she is working on something behind the walls of Saragost. If you had not opened my cell, I would have been sent to Saragost, and death could not have been quickly enough for Eorzan the Unlucky. Once sweet Lara got her claws on me. Once she made me drink of her concoctions, her vile poisons. I do not think I would be Eorzan any more. So I thank you for freeing me, Pineleaf, if for nothing else. Now that is done, and we will speak of it no more. Perhaps I was wrong. This city is not so strong after all. Do you see the cracks there and there? Another hour or two, and Sauron would have had it quite in hand. You were lucky that his commanders were not as capable as I, Eorzan the strategist. You are lucky indeed in this, Pineleaf. So very lucky. Well, so, as I said before, why did Gandalf think that sweet Lara was dead? Apparently Eorzan thinks she's not. What's the truth of this? We'll have to find that out in the next episode of Pineleaf in Mordor.